As long as the sun is risen, there will always be light. Therefore, the Egyptians said that the Son of God, the light of the world, represented everlasting life.
Jordan Maxwell has passed away at the age of 82. And Jordan was a legend of the truther scene, of the conspiracy theorist scene. If you're involved in a channel like this, if you watch a channel like this, then you're a part of a community, and you realise that people who discovered my channel through watching the Kev Baker show, God rest him, Kev, Jordan Maxwell's up there with you now. People who watch Kev Baker know who Jordan Maxwell was. They probably watch the Richie Allen show. They've probably heard of David Icke. I've spoken to Richie Allen off and on over the years. I never got round to getting Jordan Maxwell on here as a guest, but I was on the verge of doing so, and I really regret not reaching out to him. In his later years, in his declining health, he was still churning out content and information. And recently, I've been listening to a lot of Jordan Maxwell, and his talks are timeless, and I will continue to listen to him. And when you try to produce content for a channel such as this one, there's a great effort to stay on top of the current affairs and breaking stories. Can I comment on a story as it's breaking? And there's this constant need to keep up with the news and current affairs and what's happening. And sometimes I just want to switch off from all of that, but I'm someone who finds it very difficult to just completely switch off. And normally, as I'm going to sleep, I want to listen to something. And I was listening to Jordan Maxwell's talks because they are timeless. He doesn't comment on what's happening at the moment in Ukraine or the Middle East or whatever the latest news is. What he talks about is timeless. It's as relevant now as it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. The guy's been on this scene since the 1960s, if not before. And many of the things that he spoke about decades ago are becoming relevant now. But there was just something about listening to his talks that would take you out of the moment, out of the now, and into almost a different realm. And I would be listening to his speeches, and he'll catch you with some interesting little fact or anecdote about a meaning of a word. One of my favourite ones that I learned from him was the meaning of the word testify. Men in court would stand up clutching something and swear on their testicles that they're going to tell the truth. That's one that I got from Jordan Maxwell, and he was full of these little gems of knowledge. And if you've listened to his talk on maritime law, you'll know how he goes into detail about how when we are born, when the waters break and the dock, as in the doctor, is standing there, and it shows you that we are kind of like property and we're born into almost slavery. And he compares it to this maritime language, and you're like, oh yeah, my gosh, too much of a coincidence for there not to be some truth in it. And I just wish I got the chance to sit down with Jordan Maxwell. But as I said about Kev Baker, these people that leave an impact on you, when they go, you feel like you will encounter them one day. So I hope he's up there with Kev Baker. And there's a few others that we've lost along the way. People that I've reached out to. I remember Morris 108, yet again, is another name that I'm mentioning. If you know who Jordan Maxwell is, there's a good chance you know who Morris 108 was. And all these people have something in common. It's a search for the truth. They might disagree along the way. They might come to different conclusions. But what I admire is that search for truth. So rest in peace, Jordan Maxwell. I will continue to listen to your talks, to your timeless talks. But it will feel a little bit different now that you are outside of time and you've moved on to wherever it is we all must go. Thank you for your decades and decades of hard work.